morning. It's been about a week. Depends on when this gets posted. Maybe it'll be weird that I say good morning. I probably shouldn't do these when I wake up anyways, because I usually tend to yawn a lot. Anyway, I was thinking about social media and stuff last night and a little bit this morning, and I made a video on this before, but it's one of the ones I deleted. Kind of weird how much you can miss when you don't have social media, but when you do, it's kind of depressing, if that makes sense. I used to have all of them. I had all of them. Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Instagram, all of them. And it's been about a couple of years now since I've gotten rid of all of them, except for maybe Reddit. I would just, you get into this weird mindset sometimes when you have social media where you get to kind of keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. And you always want to see what's next and what's new and what's hot and what's unique. And then because of such, you get FOMO, which if you don't know what FOMO means, it means fear of missing out. And just, I started to realize what it was doing to my mental health. Now, I'm kind of in the boat where social media itself is not what causes that. It definitely doesn't help. It's like giving somebody who has bee allergy a beekeeping job. That's a terrible analogy. But anyway, I don't subscribe myself personally to the idea that social media itself is what's causing the problem, but it's a big part of it. And I knew it was an issue for me because I had no self-control. I was on it all the time. I was scrolling Facebook all the time. I was looking at things all the time, on Instagram all the time, and it just wasn't healthy. And I decided at a certain point that I'm like, you know what? This is depressing me more than it's making me feel good about myself or anything. So I got off. I got rid of all my social media. It's funny because Facebook still has my old profile from when I was still in high school. It would be cool to get into that and just see what's still on it, like pictures and stuff, because I haven't had access to that Facebook account in decades. Well, not decades. Probably a decade. Yeah. I think I lost access to that account in like 2013 or something. Because the email that I used is no longer an email that is emailable. But yeah, no, like I still use Reddit, but I heavily limit myself with Reddit. I found a modification too that lets me like say, hey, you've had too much screen time with this, and not just like the phone's inbuilt stuff, like the actual hardcore kind of like, nope, you're done. And then a lot of times I really only go on it when I need information, because sometimes Reddit can be useful. Not all the time. Sometimes Reddit's information can be a little bit shaky, but for the most part, there's a lot of good information on Reddit that I tend to want to find. So I'll go on there for that, and I'll browse the information I'm looking for. And then I guess if you count YouTube, YouTube is, I guess, a social media platform. There's not really a lot of interacting with people so much so, though. Not in the same way as, like, Facebook or anything. But also, the companies behind a couple of these are kind of shady. And that's why I understand a lot of people thinking things like Facebook are the problem. And you know what? They could be right. But I do think that people have to have their own bit of onus when it comes to social media. You can't completely blame the website. You have to blame yourself a little bit too. And I do think there needs to be some onus on the parents when it comes to children browsing social media. There are so many tools and resources to limit what somebody can see and what they can approach on social media. And even then, you still should be parenting. So, this tablet generation where kids are just thrown in front of a screen and just allowed to do whatever they want. It's like, all right, and you're going to... Not that I want to defend Facebook, because in no way am I trying to defend Facebook. But there has to be a balance, and you have to be able to parent your kid, Don't put them in front of a screen and trust that they're going to do the right thing, because they're kids. Kids are kids. Kids get curious. Kids start watching things and looking at things that they shouldn't. That's because they're kids. That's why YouTube has YouTube Kids. It's supposed to be meant specifically for kids. And I don't know the numbers or anything. I don't think YouTube Kids get used a lot, especially since regular YouTube gets affected by a lot of the policies that they want to implement for YouTube Kids. Because I posted a video last week, and I had a curse word in my title. And I should have known that they were going to flag it, but I just did it anyway. So, and I get a flag, and it says this video is now 18 plus. I'm like, because I have a cuss word in my title? Like, come on, we're adults in this platform. If you want people to be 18 below, put them on YouTube Kids. Like, that's what the app is for. Adults cuss. It's normal. And I haven't got hit yet with cussing during a video. I try not to do that too much, but I have a few videos where I do cuss. Mainly just because, I try to be as... I don't want to say sophisticated. I try to be as, nonchalant with some things and as, specific about others. And sometimes when I'm talking about something, if I'm cussing, it could probably take away from the conversation, so I try not to cuss too much. In real life, I cuss as much as I feel like it, because I don't consider it that big of a deal. It's just part of language at this point. There's a time and place. I'm not doing it at work. I'm not going into a store and cussing out the cash register and stuff, but I do feel it's time and place for everything, But yeah, social media can be harming. It can be damaging, but I don't think it's... I really don't think it's necessarily specifically the social media that does it. It's just a good catalyst for it. It's like I just got off dating sites again. I got back on them last month because I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give them another shot. Maybe I'll find something. I'm not expecting much because I already know they're pretty toxic, but I thought I was mentally there to get back out into the dating pool. So I tried the dating sites again. It was just pure toxicity. They want you to pay an arm and a leg just to be able to see who likes you. I'm like, man, that's so fucking toxic. I'm sitting here, I'm actually trying to find people, and apparently people like me, and I can't even see who likes me unless I come across their profile at some point, which is rare that happens. They do that on purpose. So the only other way to be able to see who likes you is you have to spend like $40. I'm not gonna fucking spend $40 in your fucking app. There I am cussing. To see who likes me on this, you know? Like, I'm just not gonna do that. I'd rather be lonely. If I don't find anybody on a dating site because I don't want to pay $40, so be it. So I got off of them. And I think dating sites have a similar feel to social media. Because on social media, you want people to see you. You want to be seen on social media, right? Like, you don't post stuff on Twitter just to post stuff on Twitter. Or maybe you do. You know, you do you, boo. If that's what makes you feel good. If you just want to put stuff up there just to put stuff up there, you do you. But I don't think the average person posts on social media to just spit into the wind. I think they're looking for confirmation or something from people. There's a really good episode of Black Mirror called Nosedive about that whole concept of like wanting to feel popular and get good ratings and what have you, and how it can really bring you down as a human and really just kind of destroy your credibility as a person and what have you. But I don't think that's necessarily the social media itself. I think that's just the individual person. Now, don't get me wrong, I know it's hard to escape that. I know some people have social media for very hyper-specific reasons. Like, I know somebody who only has Facebook because it's the only way they can keep in contact with their family, and while that's not technically true, I'm not going to judge them for that. I don't really judge anyone that is in social media, but I do think that people need to be able to take responsibility for their actions. And if your actions are browsing social media makes you depressed every time you browse it, maybe you shouldn't browse it. Or maybe you should limit yourself. There's tools built in your phone that can help you determine how much you're actually going to see. You can turn those tools on so you can only be on the Facebook or whatever for like 10 minutes. Oh, you want to doom scroll for 10 minutes? Go ahead. But after that 10 minutes is up, you're done. You know? And like I said, I have modifications to the app that allow me, not to Facebook, but to like Reddit, where I could do more specific stuff with that, where like it only lets me scroll like 3 or 4 times if I wanted it to, and but I tend to try to self-regulate that as it is. That's just in case I get carried away, because I can get carried away. Like, if I'm going to sleep or something, before I go to sleep, I usually lay in my bed for a minute and read. And sometimes that reading will be Reddit. I'll pull up Reddit and just be like, you know what, let's see what's going on in the world. And I'll just get lost. I'll doom scroll. I like that word so much, doom scroll. But I'll doom scroll. And, you know, I just got to regulate it myself, which isn't really that hard, but it is something that can be, I don't know how to explain it exactly. It's not hard to self-regulate, it's just something you have to put yourself to do, you know? It's not a motivation thing, it's just something you just gotta do. You gotta tell yourself enough is enough. I looked at 5 posts and I'm done. Before I completely cut out TikTok, what I was doing is, once I started to get that itch, like, ooh, maybe I've been browsing TikTok too much, I would tell myself, okay, 5 more. Yeah, I'd put my hand up next to my phone while my other hand was holding the phone. I'd watch the reel or whatever on TikTok, and once I'd finish that one, I'd put a finger down. Once I hit 0 fingers, I was like, okay, time to put away. And that's kind of how I was regulating myself there. And then I was able to get off of it completely when Trump decided he was going to buy TikTok. So, fuck that, man. But see, TikTok was kind of damning in a way to me, because to be fair, that was like the one site I was still using pretty regularly. For a lot of reasons. It wasn't just because I was doom scrolling, but because I was finding like new artists and stuff to listen to, and I'd find movie recommendations. I know a lot of people give TikTok shit for the movie recommendations, but there's actually movies that I got recommended that I ended up really liking. Like one that was recommended to me was Safety Not Guaranteed. It's got Aubrey Plaza, and it's based on a meme, but I saw a trailer for it on TikTok and was like, I'm gonna watch this movie, and it actually ended up being a halfway decent movie. And then there's just bands I listen to that I learned from TikTok. So, I had legitimate reasons for why I was there, but it was still toxic. It was still something taking up my time. It was still something that was eating away at my mental capacity. Short form content can definitely brain rot you. That's why it's called brain rot. Not that I don't inherently think that short form content is bad. I think everything in moderation. My grandpa used to say that, everything in moderation. He also used to say there's good and bad in everything and everybody. And I think that's very true. I think he was a wise man. But yeah, no, you gotta limit yourself. You gotta take things in stride. Just kind of not go overboard with things, and don't always blame the evil corporation for evil things, especially when the one thing that you're blaming them for isn't really what you should be blaming them for. There's plenty of reasons to hate Meta, plenty of reasons to hate them, but your kid coming across something that they shouldn't see, or you not having the ability to turn off Facebook once in a while, that's not necessarily Facebook's problem. Yes, they have done studies and research to finding out how they can affect people more. But you know how we stop things that we don't like? We don't do them. You know how a person on the internet, such as like, I'm trying to think of an example. Like Logan Paul, you know how he disappears so he stops having his fame? People stop watching his content. You don't like his content? You don't like what he does? Don't watch it. That's how this stuff stops. You don't like short form content on YouTube or TikTok or Facebook or anything? Don't watch it. It won't necessarily go away, but you don't have to put yourself in that position where it has to go away, right? You have to have some onus of responsibility. I think people have forgotten to do that. People have forgotten that this isn't just one party's problem. We, as people, need to be able to say enough is enough. Like when it comes to certain things like price gouging, for instance. I see posts all the time on like r/mildly infuriating where people complain about surge pricing and stuff at fast food restaurants, or the fact that McDonald's has gotten so expensive. And I'm just like, well, stop going there. You know why they keep doing this? Because people keep doing it. Like, it's a cycle, right? McDonald's keeps upcharging prices. People keep buying it for that price. They're going to keep raising it until people can't take it anymore. But where that limit is, who knows? But if you don't like it, don't buy it. Don't go there. That's what I started doing. I mean, part of it was for my physical health. I haven't had fast food in almost half a year. And that's because I stopped going to places like fast food. I repeated myself. But part of the reason I stopped going to fast food wasn't just my physical health, but also because it was getting so fucking expensive. Like, one of my favorite restaurants when I still used to eat there was Carl's Jr. Their burgers are pretty fucking good. But I think the last time I ate there was like $18 for the meal I got. I'm like, holy shit, I'm just dropping a $20 bill on this. Like, I can go to the restaurant and get the same thing for this price now. It's not going to taste quite as good, but like, I can go sit down at a restaurant. Like, shit's getting expensive all across the board, but my point being if you don't give them these things, they don't take from us, you know? Like dating sites. You know, the only reason that they're actually charging $40 for likes and stuff on their sites is because people are paying $40 for that like service. They're paying for it. People are actually giving them their money to do that. So yeah, they're gonna keep charging $40 so you can see who's liked you. Just people need to start taking some responsibility is all I'm saying. Like, it's getting ridiculous because we've let it get ridiculous, and we have to accept that. I've accepted that, and I have a hard time accepting responsibility. Yeah.